Bob, this is Pat Carroll,
Yeah.
Bob White, and this is Linda Gibbon.
Hi.
And Dick Bangham.
Hi, Dick.
We're
Bob.
on the, and anyway, we're...
Do you mind if we shoot some home video?
I've had like 3 tours this week. I mean, when I did a Channel 9 thing, Broadcast House Live, I did that. I put my number on the screen, and
Oh,
I had
great.
people calling me from the tourism department.
Really?
Thought it was like a museum, you know, like when buses here. I mean, it is, but it isn't. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like they don't understand that it's somebody's house. Like the normal stuff, I have some things. I was into this early. I mean, you know, I could fill this house 8 times with the stuff I had. I mean, I got cabinets under here filled with pictures. I just put up stuff that interests me, you know. There's 3 Oscars and an Emmy. I'm the only collector I know that's got 3 of them. This is Raymond Burr's Emmy for Perry Mason. And this is American in Paris Best Picture of the Year Oscar.
Whose foot is this?
Egyptian mummy. 1300 BC. I've got 3 heads over there and a foot.
So that's close to 4,000 years old?
Yeah, well that right here, the sarcophagus, is about 2500 BC. I had people from Walter Reed Medical Museum come down. That was kind of funny. I have a lot of people come here at Walter Reed Medical Museum. Came and I thought, I was kind of apprehensive because they've seen it all, right? Yeah. They came in here and they go, wow, you got 3 mummy's heads, we only have 1. It was really fun. I used to call Stan up in 1960.
Wow.
Yeah, I saved my money and talked to him. I guess I was bugging him, but I would ask him some funny questions. I knew Boris Karloff, Vincent Price, Stan Laurel. I knew them really well, enough to call them and stuff like that. And that's really before the nostalgia boom took off, you know?
I used to correspond with Larry of the Stooges.
Oh, yeah, me
and
too.
Mo. I got
Yeah.
some stuff from Mo.
Yeah, look, you like this. I got to be friends with Mo through another friend of mine who knew Mo. I always got weird things signed back then, so I had a seltzer bottle. You know, like the old kind
Great.
of guy. And it
Great
had a
idea.
little bit of fluid left in it and all, but I handed it to him with a magic marker, and they all signed it, and then Mo took it like that and turned like this and like pointed it right at me, and I said, I wish it was filled. And he goes, you're all right, kid, and he hit me, you know, and it was great. But I got the weird stuff too. I mean, like, I hope this doesn't upset anybody. But
The weird stuff.
yeah, this is weird right
Well,
here.
there's like shrunken heads over there.
Well,
or something
that's
in there.
normal compared to what this is. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
Here he is on display. It's body of a notorious gangster. There he is.
Well, how is he preserved?
He's preserved with arsenic and a very strange chemical that they got somewhere in West Germany or something, and they tried it on this guy, and it petrified him, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
I know he looks like wood, but if you saw him from the back, it's like an old man. It's really strange because
Yeah.
what this hue that he's got is because of the lights on him all those years. Indian skulls that I have, I mean, I went to a show in Columbia and I had an Indian skull. A woman turned me in, police came and all.
Really?
It was crazy. I'm saying, for what?
Then what happened? Did you...
Yeah, the policeman just said, look, just put it away. You know, I said, fine, okay. Just on this table here, you could spend days because I collect hotel registers. And there's virtually like John Wilkes Booth, every Confederate and Union general in here. I mean, there's people, Winston Churchill, Albert Einstein, Gershwin, Cole Porter, Rudolph Valentino,
fooling.
Raymond Massey,
Wow.
Kings, Queens, everybody's in there.
Touch this dick.
Lincoln.
That's
It was
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Yeah, it's neat.
Wow.
See, it's like, he had this all during the war. That's where he'd keep his money. Mary Pickford's last curl that she sold at auction in '39.
Huh.
And there's George and Martha Washington hair locks. I've got the best Larry Fine story. He knew about my collection and told me I collect hair locks because I got lots of hair locks. And he goes, do you want a hair lock? I said, I'd love to have a hair lock. I didn't know how to ask you. And he goes, here. And he just did like that and pulled it right out. Like, I got some. And I said, write something corny on there. And he went, what? And I said, anything. And he wrote, here's me. He was real nice. In fact, first time I ever met him, he tried to pick up my sister. Who at that time was jailbait, probably. She was like 17. And we're like, wow, there's Jack Nicholson. And he walks over right to my sister and he goes, would you like to come in with me? And my sister's like, what? And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, we couldn't explain it to my mother, you know? So she's like, no, I can't, you know? And then she regrets it to this day.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
I got a million stories. I mean, it's funny. Like, my son's sitting around. He's 5 years old. He's watching reruns of Batman. And he says, Dad, I love the Joker. And I go, I know him. And he goes, you know him? And I go, yeah, he's an old
You
man.
know both of them.
Caesar Romero. I said, he's a nice guy.
He was great.
So he says, oh, can you get his autographs? I said, yeah. So we used to correspond with just Christmas cards each year because he collects elephants. Really had a huge collection of elephants. And so I wrote him, and my son was bugging me about going to California. He was 7 or 8, and it was. I mean, he's a great guy, and he was asking him all these questions about Batman.
Yeah.
And then the greatest moment was he said, "Can you still laugh like the Joker?" And Cesar Romero turns on the sofa and just goes into this whole character right in front of my son's face. And I didn't have my camera ready, but my son's eyes were like that. I mean, he was laughing and doing with the hair and all this stuff. It was great. I used to be like apprehensive about having such a wide, eclectic variety of stuff. But I can have people from 8 to 80 come down here, collectors, non-collectors, and there's always somebody that's interested in something, you know? I mean, I got tons of Kennedy stuff. But
Is this all the Kennedy stuff?
Well, everything in these cases were owned or used by him personally.
Man.
Here's his passport, his ID card, his badge from the convention, his international driver's license, his address book from his apartment. His hands are on that piece of paper. It's the first thing he wrote as president. Because I collected Kennedy for 20 years and came up with some books he owned and things like that. But then I hit the mother load. I mean, all this came from Jackie Kennedy or people that worked with her.
Is that right?
What happened? Roosevelt and a lot of first ladies, Eleanor, called in the staff and said, take whatever you want. She threw his canes and clothes and all kind of stuff in the middle of her bed, leaving the White House, packing up, going out. Harry Truman's the president. Take whatever you want as a memento. So guys were taking stuff and all that. Jackie Kennedy did the same thing. A lot of this stuff, not all of it, but a lot of the main pieces, like his ring and his watch and things like that, were in a wicker basket in Averil Harriman's house in Georgetown. That's where she went. And she just called in staff and said, take a bunch of stuff. And some people were taking 1 and 2 things, and I got the mother load. I got the person that got the most.
Really?
Yeah. Here's Kennedy's wallet. I just got that last year that he had on him when he was killed. And this is the money clip that Jackie was going to put with his body. That's like people say, what's my favorite thing? That's my favorite thing. That's the flags off the car in Dallas. I mean, they're great items. Yesterday I was just offered the hearse that carried his body from the plane to Bethesda Naval Hospital. Now I'm thinking, like, I mean, I was offered his 61.
Was it his body? Was it his body?
Yeah, no, that's another thing. But see, that license plate, I was offered the car that was on that plate, and I got the keys to the car. It's a 61 Lincoln, white Lincoln that he had up in Massachusetts. And I was offered that car. The guy wanted like 30 grand, 40 grand, something like that. And I'm like, it's okay. I kind of get 30, 40 grand. I mean, I lead a kind of a normal life. That's the neat part of this collection is, like, I'm not a multi-millionaire. If I was, it's easy. You know, you just buy it all.
Right.
I don't buy it all. I mean, I buy something, trade it off, do this. I'm always hustling. Yeah, always hustling.
Did your father collect?
I grew up in this house. And my father had a club basement down here, and I used to just put up little displays in the corner, you know, something like that. But I collected Civil War bullets, you know, and went to Gettysburg and did all that. You know, started out as a kid. Drove my bike to Atlantique City, where I'm just opening a shop now, and would hit all the antique shops all day long.
Yeah.
Finding whatever, you know, I mean, just something that was history. This is a wild item people have a hard time with. That's the shell that Ruby killed Oswald with.
Whoa.
You know, the shell casing from the gun.
Yeah.
And then these are abstract drawings that Ruby did. And this was setting in the Dallas District Attorney Henry Wade's desk drawer. Just evidence, you know. And I got it from Ron Wade, his cousin.
So, what's the strangest, what's your favorite acquisition story? One of them.
A little old man called me up and said, I have presidential paychecks. And I went, what do you mean, you know? And he goes, I said, the president doesn't get a check, paycheck, you know. He goes, well, I beg to differ with you, I got him. And I said, well, who you got? And he said, I got Franklin D. Roosevelt, Herbert Hoover, Coolidge. I'm like, man, you know, I said, I can't believe this. I got to see him. So I went in this horrible neighborhood downtown Baltimore. This guy worked for the Treasury Department, and he was ordered when they bombed Pearl Harbor to clean out an area in the Treasury Department. And he said, I started throwing boxes away and burning them. And he said, and I saw the president's name on some checks, so I just pulled them out. So he had a little envelope filled with about 80 checks. They were senators, a couple congressmen, a couple vice presidents, but all from the 20s to the early, late 30s. I'm looking at these things, and I go to the guy, I just can't believe I'm holding them in my hand. I go, what do you want for these? And he goes, I took him to a stamp dealer in D.C., and he said he offered me $2,000. And I was like, I couldn't calculate fast enough. I'm saying, well, like $2,000 for this whole group, that sounds so cheap to myself.
Right.
And then he goes, if you give me $3,000, you got them. So usually you don't dicker like that, but I went, wait a minute. So then I took I divided, you know, and it came down to like $33 or $37 a piece. I'm like, I'll take them.
Oh, wow.
So I left and got the money, came back, and I really didn't know what I had. I mean, I honestly didn't know what I had. I knew it was good. I knew they were worth $37 a piece. And this is going back 1982.
Yeah.
So it literally put me in another tax bracket. It sold them.
God.
That's how much it was. I mean, Malcolm Forbes bought a set, and Fabergé eggs. I got a letter from Malcolm Forbes saying that there's more interest in those paychecks in his museum in New York than there is the Fabergé eggs, because people can identify with the paychecks. I mean, and they can look at it and go, wow, there's I helped buy my house with them. I mean, it's like crazy.